Hello, everybody. Today I have with me one of the finest wildlife filmmaker in India and world, Nallamuthu. Nallamuthu has won 4 national awards and several international awards. His films can be seen on NGC, Animal Planet, Discovery channels. Today we'll talk to him and find out what wildlife film is all about. Welcome, Nalla.
Yes, Ajay. Hi. All good.
First question I want to ask you is tell me a little bit about your early life, how you became a filmmaker, and what made you inspired to get into wildlife filmmaking.
Yeah, I'm I'm basically from Film Institute Chennai. I specialize in cinematography. It's a 3 years course after plus two. I mean, there is one in Pune, one in Chennai. I'm from Chennai because since I'm from Chennai, I got an admission here, so I completed that. So after that, I really wanted to go to film industry. Basically, my idea is to get into cinema and do something on on cinematography. So at that time, my father insisted me to go to government, central government job. So those days, no, I mean, there are very few opportunities to work in cinema. So I decided to join an Indian space research. Worked for a few years. Then I decided to, go to Delhi because those days, television was, the first time, we had only Doordarshan. So the private channels started getting into our country. They started new channels started coming in. We decided to do something in television because cinema was too tough to do. Work in cinema. There are very few people are, encouraging institute people. There's a lot of problems, a lot of politics and stuff. So I thought might as well do something in television. Then we'll try to do something in cinema. So opportunity was in Delhi. So joined in Delhi again as a cameraman in films division, because I mean again it's a central government job. Then I thought there's nothing creatively happening in government job, so decided to quit the government job. Started working seriously on television. So that was a first step which I started working in television. So that time I think in 1991 we got an opportunity to do a series on environment. This is an environment series called Living on the Edge. So we did some 52-part series. That was the first step into wildlife, environment and wildlife. In that, there's a mix of wildlife and mix of environment, and a lot of issue-based, lot of issue-based magazine format. So even though we got a prime time slot in Doordarshan, there was hardly any viewership. So we put a lot of blood into this. There was no viewership because we were doing, what do you call that? Purely a conservation based, educational based, talking about environment and pollution. There was no drama. There's no story. Even though it's commissioned by Doordarshan, it didn't do well. Uh, Managed to get some awards, and producers and ourselves, we were getting making money. So I just thought, this is not working, but you put too much effort and hard work. So that was a turning point. I decided to work on serious documentaries. So those days, a lot of international crew used to come to Delhi. So I started working for them as a cinematographer and documenter. So mainly I started concentrating on wildlife-based documentaries since I was doing in environment and wildlife. And apart from that, when we were working in Indian space research also, I used to do high-speed cinematography. So those days we used to do film birds and pelicans and takeoff and landing, and try to do something on to give a technical support, and we used to spend 2 years, 3 years to document this rocket manufacturing and preparation and test and stuff till we launch. So I was experienced in documenting stuff for follow one particular rocket manufacturing. So we used to document stuff. So that really helped her to do these sort of documentaries, which international crew used to come to India. So that is these all the 2, 3 situations made me to start working in environment and wildlife. then I used to work for 6-7 years as a freelancer in documentaries and wildlife and stuff.
You also made 2 feature films.
Yeah, those days I used to work whenever I get a chance. I used to work as an assistant to feature film, and I also produced some feature films. I also shot some feature films because mainly my idea is to do something on feature. But those days were very difficult because nowadays things are different. So I was balancing it out, do something in drama and what do you call that, feature and feature length films. And I did a feature first. On those days we were shooting in beta and digi beta. There was no high definition camera. So then the digital thing started coming. Started working on digital cameras. So people, abroad, they've already started working on high definition. So they used to bring cameras from abroad, which I shoot in HD and they take the camera back. There's no cameras in our country. And I got an opportunity to work in high definition feature film also. So, like that, I was trying to do something new always. And and television is also growing up. They're also trying new formats and we did first reality show, we did first travel show, we did first off the beaten shows. No, it's all at first because there was a good opportunity. I managed to do it, but my main focus was documentaries, high-end documentaries. Follow one particular subject and follow one particular character, the human, So that really helped me to shoot sequences on my own. So sometimes what happens, the crew comes from there. I work for 10-15 days, and they go back. They ask me to do some follow up. I shoot and send it to them. Then they ask me to do one particular segment. So I do the segment and send it to them. They ask me to do one. So it was keep on going on and off. So that really helped. Then I decided one day, okay, instead of working for others, might as well do something on my own. So that's the first initiative. I started doing a wildlife documentary on my own. So it started.
Your first film was Tiger Queen, which was based on one of the most famous tiger in Ranthambore called Machli. How did you go about that? How long did you spend? And what was how did you get inspired to do this film first? Tell me a little bit about that.
Before this Tiger Queen, I did a lot of work as a freelance cameraman as a follow tigers for WWF and WW Internationals. For National Geographic as a freelance cameraman. But even what you call independent crew comes from abroad. So I now, and mainly there's a lot of demand in tiger films in abroad. So I just thought, since I decided to do something on my own, I managed to get a co-producer. So we decided to follow this Machli, and she was very famous at that time. BBC used to make films on Machli. They did 2 films, and it was doing very well. And these tigers are getting popular, and a lot of tourists started coming to see this tiger. There's a big demand on tiger films. So I just thought, since we are investing our own money, it's very difficult to, as an Indian, produce and sell it. It's very difficult to get commissioning from international producers, international channels. So the only way to do is shoot, because I had a lot of experience working for international crew. Only thing I thought, might as well put together a film, a complete story, and go and pitch it. So that was an idea. It was a big risk, even though, we spent 1.5 years to follow this character. And at that time, Machli was almost, she had lost litter, and her 3 daughters were trying to, get her territory from the mother, from Machli. So I thought, okay, it's the right opportunity to follow it. There is a potential for a great story, because Machli got her territory from her mother. She fought with the mother. She managed to get the territory, and this is again a challenge for her to hold this territory. And she also had 3 daughters. So I just thought there is a back history of Machli, which BBC did it. So I just thought, well, let's follow this and at least get some story. So that's the way I followed it.
How long did you spend making this
film? It was something around a year and a half. There was a pre-separation part. We did something before the separation. After that separation also we did. So it was like, then to see that film, the whole idea of doing the film is there's a great potential to tell a story. There's a lot of drama. There is a fight between sisters, and there's
Talking
one dominance.
talking about drama, I notice in your films you bring in a bit of fictional kind of drama in your films. I've seen. You create a lot of kind of drama. So what is that? It's a special approach of yours to create drama.
It's not. I mean, all my stories are very true, because we don't make any stories. All are true stories. But instead of talking heads, I try to tell a story through this characters and visuals, because I'm a cameraman. I try to get those visuals play around with the sequence and try to put through the sequence and try to tell a story. That is one thing, because talking heads are boring. We had a very bad experience earlier, so I just thought that's one thing. And again, I just wanted to add some cinema into this documentaries, and that's first thing. So that really works, because people wants to see the story. People wants to see a sort of sequencing of these characters and capturing this character in their own in one way. And it's a constant follow up. I mean, it's not that the story happens every day. The story changes, but we just follow it till we get a good beginning and middle and end, and without manipulating with some other story. It's all actual stories. That's what, if you see all my films, whether it's Tiger Queen or Tiger.
You made a follow film called the most famous tiger in the world, Machli, which won the national award. Yeah. And I find you spend so much time shooting Machli. Probably it was destiny that you are actually present when Machli had its last breath and passed away. You actually shot that, which is a very, very rare thing to do.
Yeah, but see, after my first film, there were 3 daughters. We had a great story. There was a good response. We went and pitched it to National Geography. They bought it. So then I thought, okay, there is a potential for a tiger story. I put my own savings. I started following one of her daughter. They shifted to Sariska, and followed that. I got a great story. So again, third daughter. I started following all the 3 daughters of Machli. So in that meantime, Machli is also slowly, following her. Whenever I get time, I just go and follow Machli and the daughter.
You actually got the shot of it having its last breath, isn't it?
Yeah, because it's religiously we traveled. We just followed Machli for 7 to 8 years. So that's one reason we managed to get that death, because that sequence, because we know that, because everyone those days they do films only from when these cubs are, when the tigers are from only these cubs are small. And no one has tried to make a film on a tiger from prime to death. Very hardly anyone followed it. So I thought might as well follow Machli from prime to death. But this is the first film I can say. Maybe I don't know. We religiously followed a famous character from prime to death. So that's one thing which is completely never been seen before sort of a footage. And also we had a great back-end story to tell a story. So these all together, it was a great film. Now, otherwise, normally people spend some 21 days or 2 months and try to make film. My films always spend minimum 2 years to get a story. It's like, we shoot something around 250 days of filming. So that's one reason you get great stories.
Now tell me, a lot of common person, students, common person, we end up watching shootings, film shootings, other kind of shootings. But there's always this mystery about wildlife filmmaking, because obviously, your wildlife filmmaking is a bit hidden from the normal audience. So we actually don't know how a cameraman goes in, how he shoots, how he gets his footage. Tell me a little bit about this process of shooting of wildlife. How do you do it?
See, in our country, the situation is different when compared to Africa and other places, because we have a lot of restrictions, mainly in tiger national parks, tiger reserves, because we are allowed to shoot only in the tourism zones. And all my films are shot, in front of the tourists, sometimes 20 gypsies, sometimes 30 gypsies. in the tourism safari timing. In India, you won't get any special timings for filming, apart from few parks, but most of the parks, you have to stick to the timing of safari timing with a tourist. That's a restriction which you need to mentally prepare to start. I mean, if you want to start any character, you want to do wildlife film in India, that is one thing. I'm talking about tigers. Second thing is you are not allowed to go off track. You have to stick to the track, which is, again, it's difficult for filmmaking. Third is filming permission is one thing which you need to be mentally prepared to pay for. It is something around, varies from 15 to 20, 25,000 rupees a day, which is not for the whole day, only from morning to evening. And you can use only one camera. If you're using another camera, it will become second camera unit. It will become, you may end up paying twice its filming fee charges. So these are all the restrictions, and that's the way all the film has been shot. So you have one camera, cameraman hardly take assistance because you are not allowed to get down from the jeep. You will be sitting from the jeep, and that's the reason we won't take any assistance. Only one driver, maybe one guide, and because too many people, there'll be wobbling, there'll be shake. So you need to have, take a steady shot. So that's why, that's the reason I got used to with myself, do alone everything. It's a one man, because again, kind of a film which I make, I follow the character. So I don't need a director to direct me, because I myself is a director, cameraman. I'm trying to get the sequence and trying to put together the stories happening. I'm experienced, more than 10, 15 years of making sequence on my own. So this all happens. It's all you plan a shot at that particular situation. You try to work out a sequence. You try to, you'll be having all your stories in your mind, maybe 2 to 3 different lines, and try to work out, because you take a call once you see the tiger. The thing is, you are restricted to shoot from these conditions. That's one limitation. The tiger, sometimes you may not get the tiger. Right? I mean, in my experience of whatever 10, 15 years, there are 9, 10 days. We hardly get a chance to see a tiger. But again, you keep going back and forth, you come back, and that's the way, because that's the way it is. Because otherwise, it's very easy to. There are two ways of making films in wildlife. One is documenting, just document whatever you get, put together, put a music, put a voiceover, or if there's no story, you get a famous anchor person or a famous voiceover to do it. So you tell a story, you just try to what do you call it, like an audio visual sort of a thing. That is one way. Second way is you follow a character till you get a great story. So obviously people like to see this sort of stories. It's got a lot of drama in this, it's more or less like making a film, because the only thing is the character is not in our own control. The stories are not in our own control. It's unscripted. So these sort of challenges, that's completely a different format of making it. It needs a lot of money, a lot of time. You need to have guts to spend that much money.
What about the equipment, special equipments you use for wildlife filmmaking?
Yeah, because since we cater for international broadcast, there are some specifications, which is we use very high-end, now I'm using 4K. Those days I used to HD and 2K and sort of a different format, but all are very high-end, because that's the specifications, which is an expensive thing. It's very hardly you can hire, get these lenses on hire. So these lenses and cameras, we try our level best to buy it on our own, and we invest money on our own money, and that's the way it is. Because these sort of limitations, these all the challenges are there. So which is very expensive.
What about things like night shoots and all? Are you allowed to do?
No, we are not. We are not allowed to shoot night in our country, because your permission is only sunrise to sunset. In Africa and other places, maybe, and we are allowed to use some remote cameras, provided if you're having a tie with scientists and scientific organizations. So we have a lot of restrictions. There are, even if you do, and it's like there are some films I saw it. I don't know how they managed it, because legally speaking, you are not allowed to use any night cameras.
What about abroad? In abroad parks, are you allowed to
Abroad
have more
things are
freedom?
different. Abroad is different, and see, I mean, there's a lot of freedom, and in terms of forest also, it's open, and that's a completely different. You hardly get to see a character-driven film in abroad because you end up getting compilation of chase and kill and sort of it's like very those sort of an images. There are some good films, but apart from that, it is easier in abroad. I never shot in abroad because I focus only on tiger
What about the
because
free fee structures in the park? Do you have daily fees to pay
yeah,
in
daily fees is
shooting here?
something around 15 to 20,000 rupees a day. Because for example, if it's a 200 days, just imagine how much.
Hmm.
100 days it is 20 lakhs. So it
So
is it is an expense.
talking about that, what about the economics of wildlife filmmaking? Like you are saying, 15,000 per day, which
Yeah,
means
it is.
you spend so much time, so much money, and how does it work? How do you sell the film? How does it work?
It is complicated. It's one way. It's a gamble. Everyone everyone thinks wildlife filmmaking has got a lot of money. I won't agree that if there is a lot of money, I mean, in India there are hardly two or three wildlife filmmakers. There is
Hmm.
any. I mean, if there is a money, no, in India, no, there will be some 50, 60 filmmakers will be making films. Hardly any
Yeah.
filmmakers. So that itself very clearly shows there is no money. I'm not telling it's not a loss. If you get a great story, obviously, you can sell it. So again, depends on the kind of a story, effort, and I mean, it's again, you need that passion to spend that much time, slog yourself, and you are ready to challenge this international on your own. You have to challenge the international market, and
Hmm.
I mean, all my film, no one commissions these films in India. No channel will commission to hardly they commission to Indians. I don't know why. And you see all these big films who comes even worldwide famous films, you can hardly see India there, Indian animal there. And mostly it's been Africa and other places. I don't want to name it. Any big films of all these Emmy award films, you hardly see tiger in India, maybe 5 minutes, 2 minutes. That clearly shows the kind of limitations which is difficult for them to film in India. It's easy that. So that's one thing which I always say. I always expect something in those films which get Emmy awards. Maybe some two sequence or one chase or maybe a 10, maybe 10, 5, 10 minute sequences. So that's one thing. It's a challenge. I mean, it is. But if
But
you got a good
as a
story,
as
obviously,
a as a as a cameraman director, to be a wildlife cameraman, what is the different skill you need?
see nowadays storytelling. Yeah, earlier those days are different. Those days, even if you get a behavior, you can sell it. Now even if you get a behavior, I don't think there is any buyer. Those days, even if you get a good clip, footage, you can sell it. Now you get footage everywhere. I mean, those days, if it's a 10 tourists, maybe one photographer or two, or one filmmaker or two photographers. Now, out of 10, 9 are filmmakers and 9 are photographers. So the demand of I mean, now after the DSLR revolution, everyone is photographers and filmmakers, and everyone wants to get this content. But that's not a competition because what I'm telling is there is no use for those footage. I mean, those days are different. Even if you get one clip of one mating sequence, those days they used to talk big. Now you just see everyone will be maybe 3 out of 5 will be having mating sequence. What I want to say is, you need to have a never been seen before content or first time sort of a content or a great storytelling. Otherwise, you can't sell it. Or you need to follow these characters until we get a completely different story. I mean, generally speaking, I always say this. I mean, every animal, most of the animals, generally they do the same thing what normally they do. Even tiger, they walk, mate, sit in the water, kill, drag, and play with the cubs.
You
But
you
if you
also
see,
made a film shooting in Western Ghats,
yeah,
which was not on Tiger.
it's not a tiger. No one knows about it because there's no tiger in that. That's one thing. But it's a great film. We spend a lot of time on it. I think more than a year we just spent, because that's commissioned by someone, because I wanted some money. I just thought I'll work. Because what I do is I work films like this, get some money, and try to invest that money into my films. My films are completely self-financed. No one has come, no one, not commissioned by any channel.
Has it happened to you that you made some films, spent a lot of money and didn't get sell? Does that didn't get
Yeah,
doesn't sell? Yeah, that happened.
there are some 2-3 species. I've followed more than 6 months. There's no buyers. I spent something around a year to follow a film on Sarah's crane. I've got outstanding footage, which is no buyers. I still working on a film on Slender Loris. There's no buyers. There's a film on leopard, which I'm still working on. I spent 6-7 months. There's no buyers. There are great stories. There's no buyers because I don't know.
So a lot of your money gets stuck there.
No, apart from this, for example, recently I started following a mother with 4 cubs. Exactly after a month and a half, she lost 1 cub. So I thought, let me do one film on 4 cubs. So I managed to follow. I thought, okay, let's follow 3 cubs. No, I was hoping that I'll get a story. Then Corona has come. Now they've closed the park. I'm sitting at home. I lost all my money, something around 3-4 months of my work. Now I lost the continuity. So next month is going to be monsoon. I lose the continuity. I lost the money. So these risks are always there. And what I'm telling is, you cannot, people say, no, you got 3 months of footage. I'm telling you, you can't do anything with this footage. I'm ready to sell this footage to any buyers. It's all shot with 4K, in completely 4K with slow motions, and mother and cubs playing around and everything, whatever, outstanding visuals. There's no buyer. There won't be. I don't think I can sell it. It's a huge loss of something around some lot of money, and something around 60-70 days of slogging. So these risks, it's a passion.
India is doing pretty well in the population of tiger going up. So how good is it doing?
See, increase in numbers of tigers is, I'm not a conservationist. I don't talk about policies and stuff. As a filmmaker, I always try to stick with stories. But if you ask me as a layman term, there are more tigers outside national park than inside national park. And particularly some of the parks, which I can say, there's no space in our country. All the tigers are suffering. The tigers which are outside the parks are suffering. So there's no point of we jumping around saying that we got 2,500, we got 3,000, we got whatever. I don't think we need more tiger. I think as long as we manage the tigers which we have, that itself is more than enough.
What about things like poaching and all? Is that
poaching
better?
and all it's controlled? I think so, because thing is, I deal only with the tourism zones, and lot of conflict is everywhere. Particularly the place where I'm working in Maharashtra, which is conflict. Even if you see in this lockdown, there are three people got killed. It is there. And
do you think lockdown has helped since tourists are now no longer going to the park?
Lockdown definitely must have taught people to treat this nature and the wildlife in a different way, which is the biggest lesson. I think people must have learned it. It's one way it is good. I don't know whether they're going to stop trading of wildlife in China and stuff. That's a different case. But at least people realize something. People must have realized there's something majorly they have done wrong to this nature, to the wildlife, which I hope they will, at least 10% or 20% people will realize it. There's always, they'll try to,
Coming on that, what's the relation between like this parks, tourism? How do you think government is playing? Do you think, this has to be controlled, because there's sometimes allegation that too many tourists in the park, but on the other hand, the government is earning money from it, which is put back into the park. So what about that relation?
No, I think it used to be there. The last 2, 3 years, I think 2 years, but things are controlled because after this High Court and Supreme Court, I mean, rules and regulations. I mean, whatever the rules, whatever the law. I think they are limited. The numbers of tourists because it's all according to the what do you call space and I'm not very sure about it, but these numbers are limited now because it's all depends on the carrying capacity of the park. As per the carrying capacity, these numbers are there, but it's all online now. Those things are not. I mean, it used to be maybe, but not now maybe. But that's a
But
control thing.
on
But
the
one
other
way
hand, on
tourism
the
also
other hand,
helping.
yeah, they
Tourism
need
also helping.
tourists for money.
The revenue, yeah, revenues are that definitely helping to the locals and stuff. But I mean, this all if I can say because I'm last 10, 15 years I'm filming in national park, and nowadays I think these things are quite controlled. Apart from few places, maybe these one or two cases, but generally speaking, these to the online systems and there is some regulatory things that come. I mean, they are trying to increase the space and the carrying capacity according to the tourism flow. But I think quite control. I think which is very important. One way it is there is always some sort of a monitoring is happening. Some sort of monetary benefits also happening. Local peoples are getting revenue, and I mean it is good for. I mean it's one way it's kind of a conservation which you can say. Which I'm not against tourism. The controlled tourism and a regulated tourism is definitely good. And I mean, I don't know what's happening in non-tourism zone, which I have no idea, which is completely which is in government.
Tell me about your latest project. So, what is the film you're working on now?
Again, as usual, this is my sixth film. I started following a character called Maya. I almost
And
completed it. I'm just.
you're shooting in Tadoba this time.
I'm telling Tadoba. It's in Maya and Tadoba in Maharashtra, and she lost her first 2 liters with some strange reasons. So no one knows the reason. So I just thought, let me follow her and find out the reason why she's not able to. She never succeeded as a mother. So always when these cubs become a sub-adult, she lose it. So I tried to follow her, find out the reason behind it, and I managed to get a completely different perspective of that, tiger character because of a lot of different sort of an influence. There's a lot of completely different reason behind this loss which she was going through. So it's a film about her and again about I mean she lives next to the core, and next to that there's a buffer. So I'm trying to do a film of core and buffer and relationship between core and buffer and the movement of tiger between core and buffer. And that's what I spent something around 200 days to complete the film. I'm trying to put together. Maybe I may follow one more character. That's what I was following the buffer character. I lost continuity, so I don't know what I'm planning to do. I thought of doing a 3-part series, so maybe I try to put together and make a bigger one. I'm still working. See, that's what. There's no solid plan. We start with something else, some sort of a basic storyline. Try to follow with 4-5 story track. And try once you got the story, we try to stick to that till we get that particular all the elements to put together. So this is again, it's a
So
gamble.
sometimes
So
you start with a story and sometimes you shift also.
oh
If you
yeah,
don't get,
100%.
huh?
Yeah, so many times. I mean, not don't get things changes. We always it's wild. You may not get. So for example, there's a film called Tiger Revenge. I wanted to follow a mother with 3 cubs. We lost a mother exactly after 3 months. 3 cubs become orphan. So we just followed it, and managed to find a story. And the father was taking care of these 3 cubs. So there's a new story started. So it's again a positive attitude. We go every day and put our savings and passion and time and everything in that story, and without compromising quality, and without I don't do anything in free of cost. I mean, I always put my savings and pay proper money and I keep all my copyrights and go to international channel and pitch it. And if there's a story, they buy it. If there's no story, then there's no buyer. So it's a purely your what do you call it, positive attitude.
Finally, I have a lot of youngsters who come and say, how do we become a wildlife filmmaker? So what is your...
See, I don't know whether see, end of the day, I always say one needs to know the film language if you want to make a kind of a film which I make. Kind of, there's a language, there is a storyline, there is something, there is a drama. It's a proper film language shot with a professional technical cameras and with all the so-called specifications. But I mean, now everyone thinks because of this DSLR revolution, because everything is auto, because you just you see the view through a viewfinder, you get the image. That doesn't mean that you can become a wildlife filmmaker. Obviously, there's a lot of difference between operating camera and creatively getting content from those same camera. So documentation is different. Making proper documentary filming is different. So they need to change their attitude and they need to change the complete perspective way of thinking about this filming. They need to learn that first. It's not that just putting together visuals and putting a music and putting a voiceover is wildlife filming. Nowadays, I can see a lot of drone shots are coming. Obviously, anything if you see from top, it looks good. So it doesn't mean that it's a great image. They need to try to understand the storytelling part. And if they have kind of a digital OTT platform which is coming, there is I think I strongly believe there's going to be a lot of demand for shorter story with good content and good storytelling. If you do it, and there will be a demand. So everyone can try to learn that first. Because operating a camera is just a 3 days, 2 days job. There is no need to waste money on online and and spending money. You get to see them and everything in YouTube and everything is available. What sort of a setting and everything. Instead of wasting time, money on that, might as well they should spend time on spending, understanding the creative part of it and storytelling part of it.
Yeah, I mean,
so that
actually, yeah, that's how your life was. You first became a filmmaker, and then you became a wildlife filmmaker.
Yeah,
isn't it?
It's not that it's not that you just because you get image you become a wildlife filmmaker. Because I'm telling you, I mean, I become a wild. I'm still, I won't call myself as a wildlife filmmaker. I'm still learning. I'm still I think I started making a film on my own film only after 15 years of seeing. I've gone through kind of a thing like assistant cameraman, and he became an associate cameraman, then he became a segment cameraman and a segment director, and it's long and now also it's not that I'm investing my own money. So it's so the problem is, I mean, everyone always says, sir, why don't we get commission from the channel? It is easy. They give a commission, they give a money. The day you get the money, they start dictating you. I mean, I don't want to work. I want to tell a story the way I want to tell a story. I want to. I mean, I do. That's the reason. It's very difficult, very easy to get money and work for them, and put together a film and give it to them. You keep a profit margin, and you can't call. I don't think there is. I mean, people won't remember those stories. It's a compilation of shots, and maybe some Facebook and social media might say, wow, wow, wow. It starts and ends there. And that doesn't mean that you're a wildlife filmmaker. And I mean, even I'm still, I mean, now last 15 days, I'm going back and seeing all my footage of last 15 years. I'm still, there's a lot of mistakes. I'm learning. Okay. It's like, if you go back and see those footage, the kind of mistake which you do, which is still I'm doing it. But again, if you put all the way I work and put it in an Excel sheet and see that, final when you think it's a stupidity. What I'm into, it's a completely stupid set of a. I mean, this if you see the numbers, there's no. I mean, I don't think people laugh at me. No. So it's all passion. Now I like to do it. I like to do what I like to do. I'm following it.
So
following my instinct.
Yeah. So thanks, Nalla. Thank you very much. And I think I'm sure it will enlighten our audience who want to know about wildlife filmmaking. And if you want to catch his films, watch NGC, watch Discovery. They keep repeating his films on that. Yeah.
Yeah, there are in Hotstar, and you can see in YouTube, and definitely they can watch it.
So go catch that on these channels. Thank you so much for being with us.
Welcome. Thank you very much, Ajay.
And all of you follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Thanks, Nalla. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you.